A one bedroom apartment 2 blocks from the beach in Sarandë, $900 a month, furnished. That's not a typo. It's not an outlier listing some blog dug up to bait you into clicking. That's roughly what an American retiree is actually paying right now for coastal Albania. And it's the reason the country has gone from wait, where, to a genuine contender on the retire abroad shortlist in about 5 years. I'm going to walk you through what actually gets you there: the visa, the paperwork, the money, the taxes nobody wants to talk about. And I'm going to be straight with you about the parts that are murkier than the YouTube thumbnail makes them look, because a few of them are. Welcome to Eagle Flight, where your new life starts here. Here's the headline fact, and it's a real one. American citizens can enter Albania and stay for up to a full year without applying for a visa at all. Not 90 days, not the Schengen style shuffle where you're doing the math on a spreadsheet to avoid overstaying. A full year on your passport alone. This isn't new. Albania has run this policy for the better part of a decade to build up its tourism and its expat economy. But it's still one of the most generous entry arrangements any country offers US passport holders. And it's a big part of why people treat Albania as a try before you buy retirement destination. You can genuinely live there for 12 months, rent an apartment, open a bank account, figure out if you actually like it before you commit to anything on paper. Now, the part people skip over: a year is not forever. If you want to stay past that, you need a resident permit. Albania calls it the unique permit, and it typically runs 1 to 2 years, renewable. You apply through the e-Albania online portal, then show up in person for biometrics at the Regional Directorate of Border and Migration Police if you're on the Riviera. That's the Vlorë office. What do you actually need for it? A lease, and it has to be real, registered long term lease, not a printout of your Airbnb confirmation. Health insurance with a minimum of 30,000 euros in coverage. A criminal background check from the US issued within the last 6 months, an apostille. Bank statements, passport photos in the specific size they want. And here's something that surprised me doing this research. Unlike a lot of retire year countries that make you prove a minimum monthly pension income, Portugal, Panama, plenty of others, Albania doesn't currently publish a hard minimum income threshold for the general residence permit. You just need to show you can support yourself. That's a real point in Albania's favor if your retirement income is modest or comes from a mix of sources that's awkward to document as a single pension. Budget for the process itself. Permit fees run somewhere in the 60 to 100 euro range initially, with renewals closer to 50. Add certified translations of your documents, 15 to 25 euros a page, and figure on 2 to 4 months total, mostly eaten up by getting the background check apostilles back home before you even land. I want to give you real numbers, not a single "you can live on $1,000 a month" headline that ignores what kind of life that buys you. On the bare bones end, a small place outside the city center, cooking most of your own meals, minimal extras, you're looking at roughly $650 to $900 a month. That's survivable, not comfortable. A genuinely comfortable retirement, the kind where you're not doing the mental math before ordering a coffee, runs closer to $2,000 to $2,500 a month. And an upscale lifestyle, better healthcare access, a nicer building, the option to fly home when you want, lands around $5,000. Rent is where the country splits into two different experiences. In Tirana, a one bedroom outside the trendiest neighborhoods runs between $330 to $475 a month. Push into Bloku or the Lake District, the areas everyone actually wants to live in, and you're at $800 to $950 a month. On the coast, Sarandë, Vlorë, beachfront in high season can hit $1,140 to $1,425. And it spikes hard in July and August when European tourists flood in. If budget matters more to you than a sea view, look at Skoda or Coach instead. Same country, same infrastructure, a fraction of the rent. Groceries run $250 to $400 a month for one person eating reasonably well. Utilities, $90 to $160. And healthcare, we need its own section because it's not as simple as cheap. Before we go ahead with the remaining content, if you're getting value and enjoying this video and want to stay updated on the latest opportunities to living and traveling abroad and learn about the exciting options to retiring or migration, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. YouTube will ensure you get notified when we publish the next insightful content. Now back to the video. Albania has a public healthcare system, and technically, as a legal resident, you can access it. In practice, most expats and most Albanians who can afford it honestly carry private insurance and use private clinics because the public system is inconsistent on wait times and English language care, particularly outside of Tirana. Private health insurance for an expat retiree runs about $80 to $250 a month, depending on coverage level and age. Remember the €30,000 minimum coverage requirement for your resident permit. A mid-tier private plan clears that easily. Budget $2,400 to $4,200 a year for healthcare, including insurance and the out-of-pocket stuff insurance doesn't cover. Dental, for instance, is often paid directly even with the plan. If you've got a serious pre-existing condition and you're the kind of person who wants a US trained specialist within arm's reach, be honest with yourself about that before you commit. Tirana has solid private hospitals, the coast has less. Here's some good news that surprised me. Albania does not require reciprocity to buy residential property. Some countries only let you buy real estate if your home country lets Albanians buy real estate there. Albania doesn't play that game. As an American, you can buy an apartment, a condo, a house on the same terms as an Albanian citizen. The catch is what kind of land it's attached to. Agricultural land, pasture, forest, foreign individuals can't buy that directly. And property within 200 meters of the coastline runs into additional zoning restrictions. Want to buy that kind of land anyway? People do it by registering an Albanian company, which runs another 500 to 1000 euros and comes with its own compliance obligations. If you're just buying an apartment to live in, none of this touches you. If you've got dreams for an hillside vineyard, budget the extra step. This is the part every other video on this topic either skips or gets wrong, and it matters more than the rent numbers. First, there is no tax treaty between the United States and Albania. None. That means there's no formal agreement governing which country gets to tax what, and no totalization agreement covering social security either. So you could, in theory, end up paying into both the US and the Albanian social insurance systems without either one crediting you for the either. That's a real cost, and it's the kind of thing that never makes it into a move to Albania thumbnail. Second, and this is one I want you to actually verify with a cross border tax professional before you make any decisions. Albania passed a law in 2024 exempting foreign source pension income from Albanian tax for qualifying residents. Some sources describe this broadly, but when I dug into who actually qualifies, the picture is murkier for Americans specifically. The exemption was built with EU and EEA pensioners in mind, obtaining it through a standard resident permit. Older guidance suggested non-EU retirees, Americans included, might only access the same zero tax treatment by naturalizing as Albanian citizens, not just holding a residence permit. Whether that's still the operating rule in 2026 or whether the newer law extended the same treatment to all foreign residents, regardless of citizenship, is genuinely unclear from the public sources I could verify today. I'm not going to tell you it's settled when it isn't. What is settled? The US taxes its citizens on worldwide income no matter where you live. That part never changes, treaty or no treaty. Your social security, your 401k withdrawals, your IRA distributions all still go on your US return. Whether Albania also wants a cut depends on your residency status there and on a rule that, as of this recording, doesn't have a clean, universally confirmed answer for Americans. Talk to someone who specializes in expat tax before you count on zero tax as part of your budget. One more thing worth knowing, because it'll shape how the country feels 5 and 10 years from now. Albania is actively moving through the European Union accession process. As of mid 2026, it's closed several negotiating chapters, a real milestone, not just political theater, with officials talking about a realistic path towards membership by the end of the decade. It's not there yet, Don't move expecting EU member state benefits tomorrow. But it does mean the country you're retiring to now is not the country it'll be in 2030. Prices, infrastructure, and possibly even how foreigners are taxed could all shift as that process plays out. So, should you actually do this? If you want warm course, real value for your retirement income, and you're the type who doesn't mind being an early adopter on a place that's still figuring itself out, Albania is worth a serious look. And that 1 year visa free window means you can find out for yourself without betting the house on it. If you need everything buttoned up day one, a confirmed tax treaty, a mature private healthcare network in every town, zero ambiguity, wait a few years and let the pension tax question and the EU process settle first. I'll rather tell you that honestly than sell you a fantasy with a beach in the thumbnail. If you want the next video to focus on a different country, tell us in your comments. We'll build a video around that. If this was useful, a thumbs up takes 2 seconds and helps us reach more retirees and families like yourself who need to hear it. Until next time, spread your wings and fly.